What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One Set. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the One Set podcast. I'm Jim Green, along with my co-host, my best friend, Anthony Irvin. How you doing, brother?
I am doing awesome, man. Another week, another dollar. I wanted to start off the episode by giving a quick shout out. This week was a very important week in our county of Delaware County, aka Delco. We interviewed the director of the Delco, the movie, the director Chris Pierdomenico, last season. I think it was more towards the beginning of the season, and we were talking about at the time he was trying to crowdfund this movie that he envisioned, and it was like a 20-year movie in the making. He did it back in high school. He went to Sun Valley where Jim and I went to as well. He was a grade above us. So this past week was the premiere opening for the Delco movie, and I had the honor to have had a part in the movie and had some music credits in there. I believe we had discussed this earlier last season as well, and I was helping Chris doing the music scene. I was part of a church band in the movie, so they had a great weekend. I think they sold out the whole weekend for the media theater. And I went on Friday night, which was the red carpet premiere, and they had 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Sunday, and 1 on Monday. And they sold everything out, which I was very, very not necessarily surprised about, but something that like you don't see from a very small, amount of people around here that can sell out, especially the media theater, all through a weekend, you know?
I think just, I wasn't involved in the movie like you were, but just having interviewed Chris last year,
Mm-hmm.
having him on the podcast. God, it's like we just started doing this, right?
Right.
For him to have been this movie being in development for 20 years, basically,
Right.
I had faith that he was gonna like do all the right things to make sure that theater was sold out for all the shows. And
Yeah.
based on the reactions that I'm seeing online, like it doesn't surprise me, and I think it's just really cool that there are more and more opportunities that our county of Delco it just keeps getting recognized. And even just hearing like listening to sports talk radio, like based out of Philly,
Yeah.
when they reference Delco, you don't hear them talking about Chester County
Right.
or Montco.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they talk Delco a good bit.
They do. I
So
mean,
hopefully,
a lot of people that don't know, you know, the area, you know, people say, like, oh, what is it about Delco? But like they said in the film, it's like almost like a way of life of the fact that it's just something about the area that's different. But the thing is with this area, it always seems like even though you try to leave the area, you always seem to come back or you never leave. And I think that was the main part of the movie is the fact that the main character was so stricken on, hey, I need to get out of this town. I'm gonna die in Delco. I need to get out of this town. And he was like this goody two shoes high school senior that never did anything bad. So he's like, I just want to take one night and just do whatever, It's almost kind of like I was never much of I didn't really get into drinking and everything until college, but you know I was always like thinking like, oh, it'd be nice to go to a party or do, other things that I knew like other, uh, you know, classmates of mine were doing. But I was just, I was so more into, obviously I was in the band back then, which was another cool thing. My old band, Original Sins, we got our first couple feature film actions in there too. Some of our songs were put into it. Thank you to Chris, and thank you to shout out to Gil, our friend Gil. He had still had our full catalog on his computer, and uh, I had
That
told
that's awesome.
it's
Go.
amazing. I mean, knowing that I don't have any of like any digital things of Original Sins, and I still have maybe one or two of our CDs, but that's about it. I don't have like any of our catalog. But Gil kept it for so long, so I was able to tell him, "Hey, Chris needs like whatever you have from Original Sins, like song wise." And he must have sent him a whole bunch of tracks. And it was funny because Chris came back to me and he's like, I listened to a lot of your stuff, and I think it can work in the movie. And I'm like, you do realize some of our stuff was like anti-religion, right? I know he was more on the sway of like it's not really full religion, like religion in the movie, but I'm like, we weren't the most religious band. Hence the name Original Sins. So we didn't really have a lot of happy go lucky stuff. It was more, anti this, anti that, and kind of not necessarily revolting, but like it was more of like what can we get out of to make ourselves seem more badass, you know what I mean? But after watching the film and the spots that he put those songs in, I'm like, oh, okay, that actually works. Because in the film, the main character, again, he kind of questions his faith and, is to the point where he's like, I don't even know, you know, if I believe half the stuff that I'm been told all my life. And, is this a sin? That's a sin. And so he kind of just gets to that point where he's like, you know, I've been told what to think for so many years. Do I even believe that anymore? So, and I don't want to give away the whole movie or anything, but yeah, I mean, I thought Chris did a wonderful job on the movie, and again, he hit a lot of different spots in Delco, and it wasn't even the fact that he hit it just to be like, oh, we have to put that in the movie. Each spot that he hit was there for a reason in
Mm.
the movie, so it's not like it was just like an honorary, let's see how many spots of Delco we can fit in here to make it be like, oh, okay, well, it's a Delco movie, so we have to make sure we put this in there and that in there. Everything had a purpose. And there was another thing about like a lot of people were complaining online about the Delco accent, like the South Philly, southeastern Philadelphia Delco accent that everybody talks about. And a lot of people are saying, well, they don't even have the accent in the movie, so how are you going to make a movie about Delco and you're not going to have the Delco accent? I mean, I felt it was fine the way it was because I felt if you tried to make people have that Delco accent who don't really speak it anyway, it's going to become like a parody movie, and you
Yeah,
don't want that.
yeah.
So,
It's
I think there were enough people that you can tell had a Delco accent, and that made it enough. And the main characters didn't really have that accent that much. So I think the way that they did it was fine because I feel definitely feel if you had people just hard rolling that accent, it wouldn't have been taken as serious. It had just been like a like a parody comedy type thing. So I think even though and you can't you're never gonna please everybody. So I think the film was great. Yeah, I was very happy to be part of it, and maybe I think I know Chris was saying that he's looking to get like some distribution going and maybe some streaming and stuff. So, they say to be on the lookout on the Delco Facebook page. We'll link it in our description. So if you guys are watching from the Delco area and still want to go see it, that's where they're trying to tell you to stay updated. So make sure to go follow them on Facebook and be updated, because I'm sure there's going to be some streaming options eventually. Hopefully, some like a distribution company picks them up, and maybe you might be able to see it in a bigger theater. So we'll see. And I, you never know. I think there's more to the story that he can go off of. There might be a part two or a sequel. So I think the things are the options are really, out there for him, where he wants to go with it now. So I think he really hit the nail on the head with it. So kudos to Chris, and maybe we can have him on sometime later in the season, and after a lot of this smoke is cleared from, and see where his head is at with where he wants to go next with it.
Yeah, I'd love to have him on again. I had work in Maryland throughout the weekend, so I unfortunately didn't get to see it at the theater. But I, as well as a lot of other people, especially it's garnered a lot of volume
It definitely got a
on.
lot of attention over the weekend,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean, I think that the marketing for it was done super well.
Yes.
Just the promoting. I mean, he was on the news and on the radio quite a bit talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So he
um,
got, the local news. He got on MMR. So he was doing the radio interviews, the television interviews. So he was doing the right thing, and
yeah,
it worked. To be able to sell out the whole weekend. I mean, kudos to the whole team. They set out for a goal, and like I said, there's not many times that you can set yourself and say, "Hey, I want to do this," and you have a dream and you can get to chase your dream. So that's something that he'll be able to keep with him, and at least he knew if it doesn't, even if it doesn't go anywhere, he can at the least just say, "Hey, I did it." You know?
yeah, he had a vision. He set out for it, and like my vision as a kid in high school was I wanted to have a dance studio one day. That kind of just fell into my hands like
Yeah.
at a young age and quick, and I had the opportunity to live that life for
Mm-hmm.
13 years, and like I have high respect for Chris for like being able to do whatever it took to make this happen, and he did it. I mean, that's not a lot. Again, like you said, not a lot of people put their mind to
Yeah.
like an adventure of that nature. I'll call it an adventure because I'm sure there were lots of
Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencaster. Zencaster is the ultimate based podcasting solution and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layered backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencaster's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to Zencaster.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience as we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
I give Chris a ton of props for being able to jump through all of the obstacles to be able to pull this off.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what's up next, and like we said, would love to have him on the pod again.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. And just wanted to kind of briefly talk about that. It was a great weekend. And those of you, if you are watching locally, if you watch our podcast that are from the Delco area or the surrounding areas, and you saw it, let us know what you thought. And like I said, we'll have in the description. If you haven't followed the Delco movie on Facebook yet, make sure you do that. All the updates there, we'll be able to keep you updated on their next parts of where they're going to be able to hopefully get some streaming going or some distribution. So again, thank you to Chris for everything, and hopefully we'll have him on in the coming months. So
For sure, man. Another couple big things going on this weekend. Got to talk about it because the whole episode last week was about it,
yeah,
and we're not going to go at length breaking down the games like that.
no.
But
What's the thing that Jalen said? Rain, sleet, or snow, the Eagles are are ready to go.
I'm ready to go. And when that game started, it it had barely snowed.
It barely even. I was like, "Ooh, they're probably gonna get away with no snow," but then it just came on. That whole second half, it was like just a sheet of white.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wonder if that was the biggest snow game. I would probably doubt that's the biggest snow game in Philly history. I'm sure we've had
But
two or two, three snowstorms.
for a playoff game, probably.
Probably the
I mean,
playoff game, yeah, but
in in
in
in
recent
the
years,
in the modern era, which I think people are saying since 2000, right?
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
we'll take it from that. Like in the modern era, and especially for a playoff game, definitely like the biggest like snow game ever. And
for Philly, yeah,
yeah, and we were going in thinking, hey, it's going to snow. It's probably going to play to our advantage because we're at least used to playing in the cold, and the Rams coming from LA, they're not used to playing in the snow. But I gotta say, the snow really didn't help either team. It got to the point where you know we were starting to see the ball was just you know being poked out. What you weren't able to get a pass game going. Sometimes the running backs were they were slipping out of their cleats, and so it really was a factor for both teams more than playing to our advantage. So we kind of had to really adjust a little bit, but we weren't playing as good as we should have. And then obviously when Jalen got hurt, but thankfully he was able to just play throughout the game. I think they shot him up a lot. If you saw him at the end of that,
oh, he
he
was
was
all
feeling
on
good.
painkillers for days, man.
They shot him up good. They gave him that good.
hmm Yeah,
I
he
mean, he had
was.
a brace on and everything, but yeah, I mean, for him to at least be able to continue the rest of the game, I mean, it's good. Thank God he was able to just continue the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, these guys' bodies are beat up, man, and
Yeah,
that's the thing. You get to the postseason, and it's like you watch these guys play, quote unquote, their best football, like they're fighting for that Super Bowl championship, and
yeah.
it's like these guys aren't. They're playing the best ball that they can, given they are as beat up as they are, right?
hmm
And it's
You're really giving it your all at this point because you're literally like a game away from the Super Bowl, and you're at this point where you're, you know, at now 18, 19, 20 weeks into the season, and it's like, okay, who has the team that's less beat up and is having the most stamina and like everything ready to go, because especially with playoffs, one slip up and you're done. So uh hopefully Jalen can still play, and I'm confident with at least our two backups that they can still get the job done. But obviously I would still want Jalen out there, obviously. uh but you know the other thing that was really scaring me, and we were mentioning it last week, Jake Elliott missed two more
ex-
potential field goals, and that still scares me because thankfully we didn't have to rely on him to win a game. I don't think most of our games we didn't have to rely on Jake Elliott this year. We didn't have, maybe
I,
one, but maybe just one game where we had to rely on Jake Elliott to have a field goal to win the game.
well, our game against the Falcons, we lost by 1 point, right?
Right.
So like we've been in the window. I don't think we lost. I don't think we lost because he missed.
Right.
I think we lost because Sirianni was trying to go for two,
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
not working out.
But I still think just the fact that, Elliott has had an off season.
Yeah,
Like
it's
all season, he's just been missing field goals here and there where uh or even just long field goals that or long kicks in general that normally we would be like, "Oh, instant field goal for Jake Elliott, no problem. Don't even have to watch him. He's gonna make it." And then he misses it. We're like, "All right, one." But then he starts missing multiple. We're like, "All right, Jake, get your head in the game."
come on, man. Yeah, I mean,
now, like it was to the point where he was missing two last week, and you just hope now that it doesn't come down to a point where we have to really rely on him to be like, okay, this is the game winner. You have to kick this to win the game. And thankfully, we haven't been in a situation where we had to do that. But you know, thank God for our defense, dude.
I will tell you right now, if if the NFC Championship game, which we're hosting, and we're getting to that in a second,
Yes.
the NFC Championship game, if it comes down to he needs to make this at the end of the fourth quarter for us to win, I probably will, like, I'm gonna have a hard time watching it.
Uh huh.
I might be like this person.
Yep.
I was already towards the end of this Rams game, just sitting there.
I didn't even sit down that like last minute and a half. I was just sitting up like this because I was like, they're gonna score. They're gonna score. We're gonna lose
Yeah,
this game. And thank you to Jalen Carter
Jalen Carter,
for,
man.
killing it in that last minute and a half and sacking Stafford, and Stafford just, not completing that one pass.
Yeah, I mean
That
it's
that was close. And they had a lot of good red zone takeaways that the Rams could have definitely scored, and we held them to at least a field goal.
we held
So
them. Yeah,
thank God our defense is still on par. And we lost Mitchell, which we're still figuring out if he's going to come back. That was another big loss. We lost who did we lose in the last game? The Packers.
Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, so he was a big factor. But again, like we said before, that even though we're losing these guys, our backs that we have that are ready to come in are just as ready as the starters. So everybody is on the same page where, hey, if somebody comes out, our next replacement is just as good, and you can feel confident that that spot is being taken and it's not going to be a weakness.
Well, you got to imagine the coaching staff is priming these guys to fill
Yeah,
in times where we desperately need them. Like, and we're here. These like we're losing guys because they're banged up.
yeah,
I mean, it's the nature of the game, right? Like they
and you
are.
definitely got to assume that, especially in a snow game, there's going to be injuries no matter what. But thankfully, it wasn't too many guys. But just hope Jalen Hurts is okay and that he will be playable for the game this weekend against the Commanders, which again I'm going to get into in a minute because we both said that this could be a possibility, but we never would have thought
No,
the
we were
Lions were going to be taken down by the Commanders.
no, not even a little bit. I mean, we knew there was a possibility for an upset, but we were like, yeah, there's like a 1 to maybe five
I was going to
percent
say no
chance.
more than like 5-10%.
Yeah,
10 is being nice. That
generous. Yeah,
yeah, that the Commanders will win, and it wasn't like it was a high scoring game. It's not like it was like
yeah.
a 23-21. It was 45 to what? 41 or something?
I think it was 45 to like 38 or something like
Something
that.
like that. So
Let's see.
it
I'm
was a
looking.
high scoring game. It was a high scoring game. So,
Lions.
I did not expect that score nor that outcome.
It was
But
45-31.
there you go.
Two scores.
Yeah. So,
And
geez, I mean, hey, you got to give it to the Commanders. They're having a hell of a season, and they're just riding. I mean, I don't even think they're really. I mean, they're probably more on the fence. Hey, we won this game. We can probably make it to the Super Bowl. Where they were last week, like, hey, even if we lose, we're fine with where we got to. We got to all the way to the division game, but now their shift is probably turning to be like, hey, we have a possibility to get to the Super Bowl. Let's go.
They're like, there's one game between us and going to the Super Bowl, and
Yep.
there's two games, and we could win it, right?
Yeah. So I
But
mean, they're running on a high. The Eagles, we know what we're capable of, and everybody's expecting us, especially with the odds and ends, we're expected to win. But I'm not taking the Commanders lightly this time because one, we're 1-1. We won in Philly, or no, we won in Washington, they won in Philly, so we're 1-1. So we're out for revenge on each side.
rubber match time. Yeah, I just watched. I have the highlights on. I just watched the Rams. Whoopsie! Just Butterfinger dropped the ball.
Yeah, just the punch out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
surprised that didn't happen more. I mean, it mostly does, but you don't see it almost every time. But yeah, that Carter just punched the shit out of that ball out of there. He's like, I know I'm getting that thing out of there.
So good, man.
Yeah, Carter
Go.
was all over that. Uh, like everybody, like every other play you heard Jalen Carter, Jalen Carter, Jalen Carter. So, our
We
defense is just solid to the point where, we're getting to the quarterback, we're making stops, even when our offense is not on par. We have been able to rely on our defense to be like, hey, we got you. We're going to get you another opportunity. And I think that's where, we're getting these second and third and fourth chances to get back in this game. And we're having the mentality of whatever we got to do to win this game, that's what we're going to do. So hopefully that still continues to ride into this week's game. And, I'd much rather it be in Philly than going to Detroit this weekend. So Philly's going to be nuts this weekend
yeah. Um,
because we haven't had a conference game since 2017, I think.
yeah. That the when we hosted the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's been a while since we've had this type of game. So and we were checking. I checked at least after the game, and the tickets already are skyrocketing, like over $1,000. It's nuts.
When Matt was like, I wonder how much tickets are for the game. I was like, they're
So
like
like,
close. They're close to $6,000, and he's like, oh my god, what? I knew they were going to be expensive, but not that high. I was like,
yeah,
yeah, nah, they're like
yeah,
six fifty.
they're like 400. Like, I wonder how much they are. I'm like, a lot. Like, it's not
Yeah,
like they're gonna be $50.
no,
Yeah, they're. No, I knew they were gonna at least. I mean, originally, until I saw the actual ones, like I'm like, all right, nosebleed can easily be no less than 100 to $200. But then again, like SeatGeek and all those, sometimes they're scalp tickets. I didn't really check Ticketmaster, but you know, they were showing, around the nosebleed section, it was like $1,400. I'm like, okay, they're not playing around. But then sometimes that's a group of tickets. But
yep,
even then, I'm like, damn, that's a lot.
yeah. Um,
I'll be okay sitting and watching it from my own couch.
me too, me too.
Again,
Um,
unless somebody's gonna hook us up with free tickets, we ain't gonna complain.
nope. um, yeah,
My bank account number is blah 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 blah.
yeah, just fire it away.
It's all there.
Yeah. I am in Maryland again Sunday,
Okay.
10:30 to 1:30. Get home for 3 o'clock kickoff,
Yeah.
and
So you'll
I
be back in time.
I gotta say I'm glad that our game is first. Um,
Yeah, at least to
but
get it out of the way.
but that being said, on Sunday when we played first, when I was going like this, watching the end of that game, like just waiting for us to
Yeah.
hopefully win, I was like, if we don't pull this off, I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch this Ravens Bills game.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely gonna be tough because I'm like, we had this game won. Like, what happened? And then we weren't even running the ball. We were trying to pass. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, let the clock run out. And then
Yeah.
we gave him the ball back. I'm like, that's the worst thing you want to do is give Matthew Stafford, within the 50 yard, like within 50 yards, another chance of getting a score.
Hmm.
So I'm like, oh my god. I mean, I know our defense was doing good, but still, you don't want to give them any more chances to try to run down the field. So again, nothing like an Eagles game to get your blood pumping. But
Let's talk.
let's try to put in the scores for the Eagles Commanders and the Bills and Chiefs.
We didn't talk about the AFC games.
We did not, but you know, we did a recap of the Ravens and Bills before starting tonight, and because I had passed out in the second half with the kids, so I unfortunately didn't see much of the second half. But after I saw some clips, and again, the Ravens just seem to get into this spot every year where they get to the playoffs, they get very far, and it's just one or two plays, and they just fall off. I don't know
No,
what it. And sometimes it was the Bills, but the Bills got the win. But
I
they looked really good. The Ravens looked good up until a couple of those last minute plays.
I honestly think if they were in Baltimore, it would have been that same exact game, but
Yeah,
the Ravens winning.
yeah,
Like
yeah. That's
I,
why
that's why
home
home
field
field
advantage plays
is,
so much importance in the playoffs.
dude. That Puka Nakua bomb with a minute and 25 left.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was like, the Rams are going to do it,
Yeah.
and then Jalen Carter. Yeah. Um, Yeah, I mean the Bills Ravens game, I knew was going to be good. I tend to there it is, Jalen Carter. I tend to like the Bills, but I do think that Lamar is a great quarterback, and I think the
Yeah.
Ravens, when the Ravens are on, they're scary.
Very scary. Yeah.
I I was for sure like we're losing that game when we play them this season, and then
I
we
still don't know how we won that game. I mean, I'm not sure if just the Ravens were off that night, but yeah, the Ravens can be scary in the playoffs. But again, it's one and done in the playoffs, so you got to bring your A game, and if you're off, and you're done. So you
You know
know,
what's not off is our defense. Like we
yeah,
have we have
thank God.
number one defense in football, and it's showing. If our defense wasn't as strong as it was, we wouldn't be here. But like,
Yeah, yeah, I think definitely if our defense wasn't as strong, we would definitely be sitting at a different record for
yeah,
sure.
Saquon Barkley on offense would still be doing his thing, but
Yeah,
our defense would be allowing
more
whoever we
points.
play more
Hmm.
points. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, let's do our score predictions for
yeah, because the
the.
Chiefs are the Chiefs. We don't have to talk about them. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
we know they're going to be in the Super Bowl, but I'm rooting for the Bills. I'm hoping the Bills, win it at the end. I think both games are going to be very tight.
yeah, it's tough to pick a score.
And can we talk real quick about the fact that our scores for the Eagles game were within like 1 to 2 points? You know,
Yeah,
so that was good.
we were close,
Very,
both of
very
us.
close.
Yeah. I think you had the 28. I had the 27.
And
Um,
then you had 23, I had 21.
yep, and it
So
was
it was
28.
literally like right in the middle.
We weren't far off. I mean, people were trying to say, "Oh yeah, 31-14 Eagles." I was like,
Mm-mm.
"You're you're crazy."
Nah, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be high, but not too low of a game. But it was probably going to be like a touchdown dividing or something.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
that was pretty close.
The only one that was like way off, um,
Commanders
Commanders.
and
Yeah,
the Lions. Yeah,
yeah. All right, so Chiefs. Let's do the Chiefs and Bills
let's
first.
do that one. Yeah,
Um,
trying to think. I think this is going to be a high score. I think this is going to be a plus 30 game. because we know both quarterbacks can score easily, and you might again, Josh Allen can, just like Jalen Hurts, can rush in for his own touchdowns. Mahomes is not that type of quarterback, so you don't have to worry about that. Um, so I'm trying to think. I'm gonna go 35, 38-35 Bills.
It's good.
And I was thinking touchdown or field goal. I'll keep it because I still think it's going to be tight. So I'll say 38-35 Bills.
I'm going to say 41-38 Chiefs.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking about the Bills Rams game that the Rams won
Mm-hmm.
44-42. I think you're right, and it's going to be like that. The Commanders Lions game was like that. It was
Yeah.
45 to 31. But I don't think the differential is going to be 14 points. I think it's going to be tight, like you said, within a field goal.
Right.
And I think it's Kansas City is going to run the clock down at the end of the fourth quarter, and they're going to kick a field. It'll be tied 38-38, and they'll kick for the 3 points to make it 41-38.
Yeah. I have a feeling this game will be decided by a field goal.
Yeah.
If not a touchdown, but I would think maybe a field goal. Now, Commanders and Eagles, I doubt Commanders are going to see another 45 game. I do not see our defense allowing 45 points.
Mm-mm.
I don't even think our defense allowed more than 30-35 points this year. I'll have to double check on that, but I think
I'm going to look that up real quick.
yeah, I would say no more than 30-35 points. They haven't let anybody, score more than that. But
let me see.
yeah, I was thinking of scores for this one. I was thinking I'm going to go 31-24. Is that a
It's a difference of
so 31-24 Eagles. Sorry, 31-24 Eagles.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Okay, I'll make sure.
Yeah, I really like that score. I do like us winning by a touchdown. I mean, we beat the Rams by 6. I haven't heard anything about snow in the forecast. So
No, I mean, I know we're gonna get some later throughout this week, but I haven't heard anything over the weekend.
Right now, the forecast for Sunday says 4% chance of rain, which means we're not getting rain.
Yeah.
Overcast kind of day, which is cool.
Right.
Any rate, 31-24. Yeah, I like that.
I think it's reasonable, because
Absolutely.
I don't see us definitely not having them score 45 points again. I think we're definitely going to try to get to Daniels a lot. They have that one receiver that we have to make sure that we keep a hold of, like our if Mitchell returns. If not, I think I forget the guy who's going to replace him, but hopefully he can. I think it's like one of the safeties. Like we can hopefully keep an eye on that one receiver. They have a couple guys that can definitely make some big yardage plays, but I think if we get the Daniels and really put him through a lot of pressure and make him, make bad decisions, I think, he's going to have an off game because again, he's still a rookie. He's still the most unexperienced quarterback out of the remaining 4 teams. So, no matter what type of situation you're in, uh, getting to the conference game of an NFL, you know, team, if you're a rookie, you're way out of the experience of it.
He didn't
But
look inexperienced against the Lions, man. That's my only thing.
yeah, and that's just the thing. Like, you never know. So I mean, sometimes experience can overcome it, but you know, I again, they're not playing the Eagles defense either.
That's true.
So
I
so this is going to be a big test for them,
I
and we're going to be more hungrier that because uh we have all this revenge that we need on them, and they have revenge on us too because we beat them. But again, we were 1-1. But I think we have more revenge out for them because they took out our quarterback for the last two weeks of the season. So we have a lot more ammo on them than they have ammo on us.
I'm gonna say 34-31 Eagles. I think the Commanders are gonna they're they're good,
Yeah,
but they're not really good, and like to the point where they're gonna crush our defense like they crushed the Lions defense, right?
no, no. Yeah, I think each team is definitely going to score. They're going to get on some runs, but I think at the end of the day, our defense is going to, really keep them at bay, and something's going to go good for our offense. Saquon Barkley, or we could get a good, you know, passing game out of it. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith could be having both good games that really take us out of it too. So because the last two games, Devontae Smith had a good game in the Packers. I think they were both really quiet in this past week. So you know, hopefully we can see both of them getting a little bit more touches. And it really just depends on how Hurts is feeling too. Because if he's not in a passing thing with his knee, then it could just be a big Saquon game. Just running it off and doing short little passes to the outsides and just hitting your marks. But we'll see.
Um, just so I can write these down so we remember.
Yes,
Eagles Commanders for you. You said 31-24.
31-24
I said 34-31. Right?
for the Chiefs and Bills. Yeah, I think I said 34,
No,
31.
I was putting in that was 34-31 is my pick for the Eagles Commanders.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what I did for the Bills. I thought I did 34-31 for the Bills and Chiefs, and I picked the Bills. Or did I do 31-28?
Yeah, I think you said 31-28 Bills.
Something like that.
And I went 41-38, right?
If anything, we'll rewind it and check in the editing.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I'm not even sending this, okay? Because we both don't remember what we just said. That's fine.
No.
Um, that being said, we'll touch base on the conference championships on next week's episode. We'll then have a week off before we get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
For which we will be that off week when for football we'll be recapping the Royal Rumble. So
Yep.
we'll be
So it'll be a fun couple weeks because, like I said, we have the Super Bowl coming in, we have the Royal Rumble. We're gonna touch on Saturday night main event here in a minute. So a lot of stuff coming along, and I have a gig on the 8th of February, the night before the Super Bowl. So hopefully, if our Eagles are in the Super Bowl, I'm definitely going to be doing an Eagles chant during Eagles fight song during my set for sure. And uh, it'll be good because I haven't played a show in a little bit, so it'll at least get some rust off me to at least keep my chops going. So if anybody wants to, I'll be playing at the Rusty Nail in Ardmore on February 8th. So the show's from, I believe, maybe like 7 to 10, 7 to 11. And I'm playing with a good friend of mine, Ari. I'm playing with my friend Chris from the Cobwebs, and there's another band or two that are playing. So it'll be more of an original set that I'm playing for this. And I haven't played an original set for or nor like an original like show for original music in a long, long time. So tickets, I believe, are $10 at the door, and all you have to do is say my name or Spoken Life at the door, and so they just know you're coming from me, and it should be fun. So if anybody wants to come out, just say my name, and let's have fun.
It's
So
called the Rusty Nail.
yes, the Rusty Nail
And
or the Nail. I think they changed it just to the Nail now. It used to be
okay,
called the Rusty Nail back in the day, but I think they now just changed it to the Nail.
they're like they're like, wow, that doesn't sound attractive at all.
Yeah, because when we played it back when I was in Original Sins, it used to just be this block for a stage, and we just had the drum set and maybe an amp or two on the stage, and we played on the floor.
hmm
So now they have carved out a full live music stage for everybody. So it'll be cool to go back and see the difference uh, in the venue. So it'll be nice.
Sweet deal, man. Original, you playing original music? It has been
Since prior to 2017, I haven't played like an original set for an original music show since prior to that. It's been a minute,
it's been a minute.
so I'm gonna try to do like the live looping stuff for it. So it'll be again something new and different to do that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Sweet. Um, shall we do some WWE talk just because?
Yeah, let's just run through the card real quick. I know Saturday night main event is just something to get us through to the Rumble, but there are a couple good matches that are going to come of it. I mean, one that we were just discussing before the recording uh, was Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu, which was just announced over the last week, and we're like, huh, okay, that's something I want to see.
Yeah,
And we're also getting the no, we that was the last main event.
yeah, we have Gunther defending against Jey Uso. Jey Uso
Yes.
is getting his first
You think he's getting it?
new.
I was gonna say
I mean,
I'm 50-50 on it, but I don't think Gunther's gonna take down that title yet.
no, I think Sami Zayn has to be the guy to beat Gunther.
Mm,
Maybe not this reign, but when Sami Zayn gets his belt, I think he has to beat Gunther. Like
right.
that's his David and Goliath WrestleMania 40 Intercontinental title like um nemesis.
Yeah.
They did lay groundwork on Raw for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which was like
Mm,
really. I mean, you can always put that in there.
fight
right?
forever.
Fight forever, right? Um, Gunther Jey Uso. I mean, the big swerve here would be Brock Lesnar takes out Gunther,
Yeah.
and Jey Uso gets the belt, and I'm like,
Not mad about it.
I mean, that's
I mean, I'm 50-50. I definitely think Jay needs to get another belt on him, but the world title, I mean, does he deserve it? Yes. I mean, I think he's been, he's been one of the most improved guys and the most over wrestlers in the last year. Uh, but again, I'm still on that thing that he needs to dethrone Roman Reigns at some point, which doesn't mean that he can't have a short world title run before that to give him even more credibility. But I think his moment is going to be taking down Roman.
yeah. I
I don't
think that's
I don't think it's going to be this world title. I think he's going to come pretty close to winning it, and it's going to just give Gunther that much reason to respect Jay, because obviously he just thinks of Jay as just a good tag team partner. So
Yeah,
I think he just gives Gunther a reason to show him respect. Like, hey, like I'm good. I barely just got by you, and it was probably just one little thing. So I think it'll just be a showing of respect between the two. But I
yeah,
think Gunther will most likely retain.
yeah. Um, Braun Breaker is defending the IC title against Sheamus in a one-on-one.
Mm.
They are pushing the Sheamus hasn't won the IC title. We know this is getting to Sheamus wins the IC title at WrestleMania.
It'll be the Mania one. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm just along for the ride to see how they get it there. If it's
Hmm.
in a multi-man ladder match or if it's a one-on-one match for Sheamus, we'll see. I just
Yeah, I would like to see it in a multi instead of just one on one, because then he has to go and just like the typical go above all ends and above and beyond to get what he needed. So
yeah,
I think that's what will be the ultimate goal, to not only just getting through one person, but getting through two or three other people to get
yeah.
that IC belt.
Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu. I mean, I don't have Jacob Fatu losing
No,
anytime
I think
soon.
it'll just be the bloodline, obviously taking out Braun to give uh Strowman, no, sorry, to give Jacob Fatu the win. I don't think you're gonna get uh Fatu winning clean.
Yeah. Although that is just a match that I am looking forward to
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
It'll be fun to watch, but I definitely think the bloodline does come and help him. Braun doesn't really have anybody behind them that he can have come and help out. So I don't think I see him getting any help from them,
Yep.
from like to have him have any help. So I think it'll just be Solo and uh Tonga, right?
Yep.
They'll come out and help out Fatu, and that's how Fatu is going to win.
Yeah. Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. The Nia going after Rhea thing just kind of like happened on Raw last night.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of last week too, or on SmackDown, because after Tiffany Stratton won, I think Nia Jax that those next couple nights in that following Raw did come to Raw and start poking at Rhea. So it's been like a 2 week thing. And I mean, we've seen that they've had a little bit of, backlash between each other. So it's almost been like a long thing coming. But, obviously Rhea's going to retain here. She's just become a new champion again. So I don't see Rhea getting it taken off Rhea right now.
Yeah, I mean, Rhea defended against Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia last March, and
Right.
then successfully defended against Becky at Mania, and then got injured by Liv Morgan, and then
Hmm.
Becky won the belt. Liv Morgan won the belt off Becky, and then Rhea just beat Liv for the belt, and Rhea just beat Liv for the belt on the Netflix premiere for
Yes.
Raw, and um, I think I think the plan all along was for Rhea to hold the belt that whole time, so that she had like one of the longest reigning women's title runs
Hmm.
ever. Um, so I think her having the belt now going into Mania is like what the plan was a year ago. Was she's going to keep the belt through WrestleMania 40 and go into Mania 41 with the belt, kind of like a Roman reign.
Yeah. Oh.
um,
Hmm.
so yeah, Rhea's retaining
For sure.
for sure. I I'm guessing because let me see. This is Raw, SmackDown.
And we're not getting Cody, right?
No, because he's defending. him and Kevin Owens have the ladder match at the Rumble the next weekend.
That's right. I thought it was on Saturday Night Main Event, but it's going to be at the Rumble. Okay.
Yep. Which the Rumble, it's just that match and the 2 Rumble matches that are announced right now.
I was going to say that I don't really know any other than the Rumble matches. I don't know any other matches. So, okay. So then we got the 2 Rumble matches and the Cody and KO match. So
I
obviously there will be some other matches that'll come from it, but
I would assume with Rhea defending at Saturday Night Main Event that we're getting a Tiffany Stratton match at the Rumble of some sort
there you go. Yeah.
to get the
Probably I know Bailey just faced Tiffany, so we could see another rematch, maybe.
Bailey is doing work on NXT
I
right
saw
now.
that tonight.
Yeah, so I think that she is like on a side quest mission down there. I don't know. I think Tiffany. Oh, yeah, we might get Tiffany versus Bailey. We'll
Maybe.
see. We'll see. Um, doesn't matter because anyone like Tiffany's not losing at the Rumble just like that. Like,
No. I think she'll walk into Mania with the belt for sure.
yeah,
I think she'll keep it for a little bit.
yeah. Unless if we get like Charlotte Flair shows up at Saturday Night Main Event and we
Yeah,
get
until Charlotte makes that comeback, Tiffany's keeping it for
yeah,
now. I mean, again, like you said, uh, Charlotte could be probably one of the ones to win the Rumble, and she says, Tiffany, there you go. I'll see you at Mania or something. But then again, I would see Charlotte wanting Rhea more than Tiffany because Charlotte and Rhea have beef back then because Rhea took it off of Charlotte, right? I know Charlotte beat Rhea, but I think Rhea returned that and she beat Charlotte at a Mania as well.
Charlotte beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 36, the COVID
Yeah.
Mania, for the NXT title, and then Rhea beat Charlotte at WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood,
Yes.
and the rest of that's history.
Hmm.
Yeah, unless Rhea defended against Becky last year.
Hmm. Again, it's coming into the Rumble. It's pretty unpredictable unpredictable where a lot of these things can go. So I like it. It's leaving a lot of roads to options that can
I
win.
I kind of I kind of like I kind of like Charlotte Flair shows up at Saturday Night Main Event or SmackDown this week and challenges Tiffany at the Rumble, beats her at the
Hmm.
Rumble. Tiffany enters the Rumble, wins it, and then goes on,
Mm,
and then we get the Tiffany chase. Tiffany's chasing Charlotte
right.
like to build to the Mania match, and then you get. I don't think Charlotte Flair is coming back and dropping the title at Mania, so
Mm-mm. No.
that's a that's tough. I mean, the only thing, the only the only good thing about Charlotte dropping the title so many times is to increase the number of title reigns that she has.
For sure.
So she's just like her daddy,
Yeah. Just like Daddy.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, they they did that the last time she returned. That they gave her a title right off the bat. So I don't see them doing that again. They could easily do it, but it would be just more cliche if they just brought her back, put her in the title picture, and she wins right again. So I would much rather see her win the Rumble, chase somebody up till Mania, then get another Mania moment for
mhm.
Charlotte. Because it would just be
uh,
too cliche for her to come back and win a title in the same night.
by the way, Bailey has been moved to Raw. I don't know if you caught that.
I did see that she was on Raw last week as just a spectator, but then she got into it with Naya, and because I think Naya was talking to Rhea, but then called out Bailey in the audience. Bailey came out to help out Rhea. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's obviously with one of the things how Rhea and Naya started really getting knocked off.
Yeah, I think I'm just looking at like the Rumble, like the announced participants for the Rumble.
Hmm.
It's just Nia Jackson Bailey for the women's right now,
Gotcha.
and I'm like that Rumble is next week.
Yeah, so be prepared for a lot of people to just be like, okay, I'm in the Rumble, I'm in the Rumble. But then again, I mean, I was saying like, do they even really have to announce it anymore? We know most of the roster is going to be in the Rumble at this point.
They could literally just announce people on social media and we would know about it,
Yeah,
right?
so I mean, it's not like it's much of a secret anymore. If you're on the main roster, you're most likely just going to be in the Rumble at this point. So unless you're coming back from a return, those are the ones we don't know, or
Yeah.
you're just a legend.
Uh, for the guys, it's LA Knight, John Cena, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, Sami Zayn, and I think this is going to be one of the
It's
best
stacked.
Rumbles. It's going to be stacked, man.
It's really stacked because just the fact that you have Cena in there, there's a lot of potential guys. Especially from CM Punk last year, he was that close with Cody, but then they went with Cody. You can obviously Cody's not going to be in the Rumble because he's the champion right now, but you can have Punk, Cena, LA Knight, possibly a returning Randy Orton,
Oh, I
if
think
some,
Randy is definitely going to be returning at the
and
Rumble.
another
And
fifth one as like those last five. And yeah, I think this is going to be a banger. There's gonna be a lot of people getting into this one, so
yeah,
I think this is going to be another. I think this will be a good one to watch.
have to agree. And shall we wrap up for this week for this one?
Yeah, I know the last couple we've been doing some long ones, so try to get this one a little shortened up for you guys. A lot of stuff to pack in, so sorry if we were a little quick with our stuff, but just getting to the points and try not to linger too much this week. But we'll be back next week with more wrestling, more this, more that. So if you haven't yet, make sure you guys are subscribed on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. TikTok is back. Yeah. So we're back on TikTok. And they're all at One Set Pod. So make sure you're subscribed. We're here every Friday at 9 a.m. Thank you all for listening and watching again. We will see you next week. This has been One Set.
All the love to you.